Parise ridden off hard by Timonen. Moving in now, faking the drive. Kovalchuk is shot. He scores!
This is hockey, a multi-billion-dollar professional sport with a following of millions of devoted fans from across the globe. However, for the second time in 7 years, the players and the owners are fighting over who should be paid what. This is called the Collective Bargaining Agreement, or CBA for short, and the effects of this disagreement can be felt throughout the many industries which are connected with the NHL.
Any work stoppage is just tremendous hardship on anyone associated with the game.
And he's not lying. Millions of people around the country are connected in some way to the NHL, from janitors to local businesses. The NHL Lockout goes far beyond just the players and the owners battling over their own shares. In fact, it goes as far as there being 30 NHL teams, each with a home arena that drives the economy of a specific region. Newark, New Jersey is where you'll find the Prudential Center, home to the New Jersey Devils. In its shadows sits the Edison Ale House, a nice local restaurant that relies annually on the NHL season.
This restaurant is located on a one-way street, obviously directly behind the Prudential Center. So from a visibility standpoint, we don't get much local traffic. However, when there is an event here, we are one of the more popular restaurants on the block. So anytime there's a non-event at the Prudential Center, it has an impact on the restaurant. A normal Devils game, you're probably looking at 12 to 15,000 fans with only a limited amount of restaurant bars within a 2-block radius to go to prior to a game, instead of just choosing to go inside the stadium and drink and eat in there. So allows the fan to have different options prior to an event. And when you have 15,000 people looking for somewhere to have a drink, have something to eat, and you go down to zero, it's a big impact.
An impact not only felt by the people on top, but by the employees as well.
The most important thing is to keep and retain your employees. So to keep their spirits up, find other ways of getting traffic into the restaurant. That's the most impact, is trying to keep the spirits up of the staff, knowing that it's impacting each and every department, whether it's the bar, the kitchen, the front desk, or the servers, because less hours because of less business.
And the Ale House isn't alone. Just across the way lies its main competitor, Dinosaur Barbecue, a southern-style barbecue restaurant that also benefits from the NHL season.
This year with the lockout, we've certainly felt it a little bit. Anytime you have an 18,000-seat arena that's empty, you're gonna feel the impact from it. So when there are events there, we obviously get a little busier. We get a nice hit from that. We're fortunate enough to have a pretty strong lunch business here. We have a pretty good location down in the heart of Newark, and we have a lot of corporate lunch business that takes place here, and we're really focused on PM business and dinner business as well. For the most part, we've been able to maintain schedules because of the volume that we are doing between the lunch and the dinner business. I wouldn't say that we've actually decreased any hours because of the season not taking place. There's still sporadic events there, whether it's concerts or boxing or whatever the case may be. So we've had enough events there to be able to still maintain the employment of our staff.
So it appears Dinosaur Barbecue has avoided the worst of the lockout. But how are businesses that are similar to it and the Ale House doing in another team's market? To find out, I headed to the biggest market there is, New York City. The world-famous Madison Square Garden, home to the New York Rangers and a central hub for traffic thanks to Penn Station, which lies directly below. So how are businesses like the local cafe, which are directly across the street, doing without Ranger games to draw in the fans?
As of now, we've lost 14 games for Rangers, so that's 14 event nights where normally we'd have a pre- and post-game crowd, a big draw that comes through for fans that not only love going to the game but also love coming to this bar specifically as a pregame. They are our regulars during that season. So we've lost significant revenue during that time. So where we would do multiple thousands of dollars a night, we might do, say, as much as a third less than that. So you're talking about thousands, and over a course of 10, 16 games, you're talking about tens of thousands of dollars and lost revenue, lost product. Even changes the feel a little bit of the way the bar is. When you have people that are coming out for an event night, they have a specific mindset where they're coming out to spend money, they're going to a game, they're ready to spend more than they probably would on just going to a bar on a regular Tuesday or Wednesday. They're coming out to eat, drink, be merry, root for their team, get that that experience. Local is a little bit unique in the fact that we have an outdoor roof deck. Now, as it gets colder, whether or not we open it is dependent upon what events are going on. Hockey fans are already going to a cold venue, so they don't mind if it's a little chilly with our heaters upstairs. They'll come, so the people that will be working that shift no longer have that shift available to them. Servers, bartenders work off a percentage of sales. So, for instance, if you have $5,000 in one night as opposed to a $10,000 night, the money that they take home is significantly affected, and it directly affects when people are talking about millions of dollars in a lockout, and people here are just looking to pay rent and to live their own life here in New York. It leaves a little bit of bitter taste in the mouth for myself and for the employees as well. But we just want them to come back and play.
And he's not alone. Not only are businesses that surround the arenas feeling the effects of the lockout, but so are the men and women who work within the arenas and rely on game days for hours. These seats not too long ago were filled with fans, but now without game days, fewer employees are needed to run the facilities. These are the jobs one does not necessarily think of when they first hear about the lockout. People who run concession stands, check your tickets, or even clean up after you. No games means no hours, impacting the local economy on a fundamental level. Someone who has witnessed firsthand what the lockout is capable of is Colton Ferber.
I actually met a guy the first few weeks I was at the internship. He worked in the cubicle next to me as a part-time employee for the Devils doing in-game promotions and stuff like that, but they actually had to let him go for the time being because his job title was manager of in-game promotions, and if there's no games, what is he to do? I've talked to a lot of ushers and security guys around the arena. They're losing money. They need to find a new job because they only get paid when they work, and if they cut out however many games in the season, they don't get paid those times.
And what he has seen is just the tip of the iceberg. The lockout also extends into the production industry.
The NHL lockout affects the production industry greatly. It has a tremendous negative effect on hundreds, thousands, maybe tens of thousands of people. There's so many people that work an 82-game season for just one NHL team. Then times that by how many NHL teams there are. That's a lot of people affected. You have producers that are affected. Cameramen are affected. Directors are affected. Technical directors, videotape operators, graphic operators, stage managers, even talent, play-by-play guys, analysts, guys who call the games are all affected by this because this is how they make their living. And even the ones who have staff jobs with the bigger networks, they need things to do. I remember the last lockout, some of the companies had to lay off even staff workers during the whole season lockout. These are jobs that people feed their families with. You know, guys have done it for 10, 15, 20, 35, 40 years. You know, there's some cameramen who've been doing NHL hockey for 40 years as a freelance cameraman, and they don't know if they're going to have work next month. I know someone who was hired as a producer, and they're really not working. They have to find other things for them to do, but they had to hire that person as a staff producer because they had to be ready when the season's ready to go. In this economic time, it's probably pretty crazy to lock out fans. You're losing TV revenue, you're losing gate receipts, and you're losing fan interest. I mean, every day that you don't have a game is another day that the fans may lose interest and find something else. And at some point, you're going to reach a breaking point where the fans are saying, hey, I'm not coming back. You canceled half the season. I'm not going to come support you for the other half. Or you canceled the whole season. I'm not coming back next season.
To find out more about how the fans feel about this current lockout, I took to the streets. So how do you feel as a fan, with no season this year?
A little bit let down, a little bit cheated. I guess these guys are making a lot of money on both sides, and it seems to me a little bit surprising that they can't come up with a solution that's a win-win for both of them.
I hate the lockout. I have season tickets. I've been a season ticket holder for years.
I'm not real happy about it because I look forward to hockey season, as do most people.
Yeah, it's something that should have been settled, last year as opposed to waiting for the hockey season to end this season.
It's kind of frustrating because I want to watch the hockey season and it's not on TV and it's not happening.
They're both, the owners and the players, make a tremendous amount of money, and the fact that there are discussions and that we can't watch hockey as a fan based on money is not fair.
Oh, it's absurd. It's not good for the fans, it's not good for the businesses, it's not good for the NHL, it's not good for anyone. There's no reason.
I think it's the biggest insult to the fans since the last one.
I think everybody's missing out and they just need to come to an agreement fast.
And hopefully they will. With each passing day, more and more hockey-related revenue is lost, from vendors next to arenas to people that bring the game to your living rooms. Hockey affects so much more than just the players and the owners. What is sad is that it seems as if they have turned their back on the fans and people who depend on the sport to make a living. Only time will tell if players and the owners can settle their monetary differences in order to drop the puck once again.
What's your favorite NHL team?
Jets.
The Jets. Okay. So, as a fan, what's your feelings on the current lockout?
I think the best team will win.
Okay. All right.
It's a terrible tragedy to hockey, and I wanted to give them a grand effort to push for men to settle their differences and move along in a prosperous manner and good in today's Jesus.
All right, thank you very much.
Do I hold it? No, I hold it. So,